Let's head to Halifax now, where Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre is speaking to reporters. We'll listen in live.
If I could ask a colleague, one of my colleagues in Ottawa has passed this on. At a time when revenues are up for oil and gas companies, why is it okay for them to pass on to consumers their worst case estimate of what it costs to implement this regulation, the carbon tax? Shouldn't the companies be doing their part?
Yes, but under Justin Trudeau, they're not. The parliamentary budget officer says that that Trudeau is going to allow the companies to pass all the costs on to consumers. And why hasn't Trudeau stopped them? He's making the small business pay more. He's making seniors pay more. And the oil and gas multinationals, they won't pay more at all. In fact, what they'll do is just move more of their production to other more polluting foreign jurisdictions, and we'll be forced to buy our energy back from abroad. I want to bring home that production to this country, and that's why we need to lower taxes and remove government red tape. That's how we'll allow Canadians to pay less and bring home more.
Hi, my question is about the Chignecto Isthmus, which is the stretch of the Trans-Canada Highway that connects New Brunswick with Nova Scotia. It needs work, and the provinces have said that Ottawa should foot the bill, but the feds are saying that they'll pay about 50%. What's your take on that?
Well, this is something I'm going to be studying with the help of my Shadow Minister of Industry, Rick Perkins. We believe the federal government under Trudeau, while it has massively increased budgets and racked up debt, has not delivered the money to final results where the rubber hits the road. We want to work with New Brunswick and Nova Scotia to improve this vital passageway, and we want to make sure that the dollars turn into results. Do you want to add anything to that, Rick? If you like.
Obviously, it's a critical issue for our province in that it's the vital link that brings not only goods and services, but people across the causeway. I know that the province has been working hard to try and get Ottawa to pay its fair share of that, as well as New Brunswick. And I think it's a failure that it's been going on for so long. This study has been going on for so long without a federal commitment. We have the infrastructure bank that hasn't done any infrastructure projects, and it looks to me like this is a perfect example of something that they should have been looking at some time ago.
Thanks, Richard.
Premier Tim Houston is looking for alternatives to the Atlantic Loop, but he's also calling on the federal government to give more support to it. Do you support the Atlantic Loop as a project, or are you looking for other solutions?
Well, Premier Houston is right. We need more alternatives to allow Nova Scotia to expand the emissions-free electricity onto its grid. First, an obvious thing would have been for the federal government to quickly approve the tidal power project that would have supplied energy from the power of the oceans. But after 6 years of gatekeeping and blocking the project, Justin Trudeau effectively sent the company packing, and Nova Scotians lost out on that green energy opportunity. I also agree with Premier Houston when he says we need more nuclear power, small modular reactors, emissions-free. A Poilievre-led government will deliver strong regulations to protect public safety and the environment, but fast decision-making, so that Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Ontario, Saskatchewan, Alberta, can bring that energy, that nuclear energy, onto their grid and lower the overall emissions. Let's greenlight green projects to lower the cost of carbon-free energy rather than raising the costs of the traditional oil and gas that we still need. As for the Atlantic Loop, when I decide how to spend money as Prime Minister of this country, I will know the cost and the benefit of every expenditure. And right now, we don't know either for the Atlantic Loop. We need to know exactly how much energy it will deliver, how reliable it will be, and how much it will cost. Only with that information can I make a decision. I'm not going to be the type of politician that shows up in every town and hamlet in the whole country, from coast to coast to coast, with a big fat check because I'm only going to promise things that I know that I can deliver on and that I know make financial sense. So I'm calling on the government to provide the full cost and the full benefit of the Atlantic Loop so that we can decide if it's a worthy federal investment. Thank you.
All right, we've been listening in live to Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre answering questions from reporters, saying that companies are passing on the carbon tax to consumers as a result of the Liberal government. He says that if he's in power, he would lower taxes and remove the red tape. Also saying that he will know every cost and expenditure for every decision made. He will not go around the Atlantic Loop handing out a big fat check.